There's this country in Southeast Asia that looks like paradise on Earth. This is Thailand, and it has never been colonized before by any country. People have lived here for thousands of years, and being geographically placed between some of the biggest civilizations in the world, they were able to absorb all sorts of historical, cultural, and religious influences across Asia. And while they were peacefully developing, a people far across the other side of the tectonic plate started salivating at the riches of the Thai people. These people were only concentrated on expansion and exploitation, and these people thrived by starting proxy wars and establishing colonies all across the world. They wanted Thailand, or Siam at the time, and they wanted it bad. But why were they never able to take it? And this is a story of how the Europeans failed to steal Thailand. So I'm in Bangkok right now, the heart of Thailand, and this is the only country in Southeast Asia that was never colonized. And why is that? Well, it's thanks to this king right here, King Rama V of Thailand. Let me take you back a couple hundred years. This is the 19th century, where Thailand's neighbors have all fell, and they're surrounded. Its neighbors left and right have become European subjects, and it looked like Thailand was next. But here's the thing, they weren't. So when you're traveling around Southeast Asia, the presence of these buildings usually symbolizes colonial rule and European culture. However, the presence of these buildings in Thailand symbolizes something else. It is one of the main reasons why this country remained unconquered and uncolonized. It symbolizes adaptability. Adaptability is an interesting concept. It requires adjustment to circumstances. The Thai people kind of knew that if they decided to fight the Europeans head-on, it's unlikely that they would win. So they adapted. Rather than denouncing European culture, the Thai people picked and chose certain aspects of European life to copy. And leading this grand project was Rama V, arguably one of the most important kings in Thailand's modern history. As the king watched as its neighbors fall one after another to colonization, the king knew that change was needed. Europeans only wanted one thing, and that was resources, because resources meant money. Southeast Asia had everything from spices, gold, timber, you name it, and the Europeans started numerous wars and campaigns to, well, have a hand in these resources. And Thailand had all of those things. Around this time and the 100 to 200 years prior, the Europeans had a very powerful weapon. This weapon was known as the concept of discovery, whereby if you discover something unknown to the European world, you can claim it, even though there were native peoples who have lived there for centuries. But in their eyes, these native peoples were uncivilized. The Europeans would either create a fancy doctrine or term and claim the land under the justification of international (European) law, or they would either just outright invade their counterparts if they were weak, all in the name to save the local people from barbarism and help them become civilized. Yeah, this justification was kind of stupid, but it worked. Now, back to Thailand. The Thai king was worried that the Europeans would think that they were uncivilized, so what they did was they picked and chose some aspects of European life to adapt to their own, and this worked out tremendously. Some examples include slavery being outlawed. Their governmental structure mimicked that of a British colonial system whereby hierarchy was formed from a city to a village in order to decentralize political authority. The spoon and fork were introduced to the people to mimic the eating habits of their European counterparts, which was such a big cultural shift that even today, while eating Thai food, a fork and spoon is standard cutlery. Adaptability alone wasn't the only thing employed by the king. In a way, he played the French and British, using an age-old philosophical idea which pitted the European countries against each other. This idea was balance. Thailand essentially acted as a neutral state between British and French colonies. If either European sides attacked Thailand, the other side would defend it, as Thailand acted as an important buffer state in the region. Probably the most important thing the Thai did was, well, he hired a bunch of map drawers and, well, mapped his country. But why was this important? So what happened was the Europeans used this concept called terra nullius, or some version or variation of it, and essentially used it to conquer these lands. This concept translates to no man's land, which pretty much means that even though native people have lived here for thousands of years, you don't own it because your people's laws and customs don't really make sense to us. And on paper, there's no document stating that you own this land. So we're taking it now. This is pretty much the simplified version of it. The Thai king, in order to avoid such consequences, got a bunch of very well-respected map drawers from Europe and drew this border. Now that Thailand's borders are mapped via the rules of the Europeans, then there will be no justification to claim our land unless we go on an all-out war, which, as we explained just now, was probably not going to happen. And while the efforts of the king paid off, the British and French left them alone, trade posts were established in and around Thailand, allowing Europeans to trade in the country. Although some territorial secessions were made, the kingdom remained at peace. The king, by not picking any sides, ushered the Thai people in a sustained era of peace in a time of turmoil. Such a balanced stance in foreign policy exists to a degree even as of today, and is a testament of why Thailand is one of the fastest growing economies in the world.